Hello everybody and welcome to Monster Hunter Rise. I'm your Monster Hunter nerd, Iceyboneshredderr. And today we're going to prepare ourselves to meet ourselves an old friend, the Royal Ludroth, who appeared in a previous Monster Hunter game. Because once again, as I mentioned before, I'm a nerd, as in I played the other games, and I know what goes on in this series. Okay, I didn't play all the other games, I only played 3. But before we get into all that, I just want to mention that there is a lot of stuff that you guys probably missed out on. So if you're interested, go ahead and keep watching from here. But if you want to skip ahead, go right ahead, like get right into the action. I'll put a timestamp here on the screen for you, or you can maybe down in the comments below, not comments, but description down below. I might be able to find a way to put it there. I haven't really figured out this yet. Otherwise, go ahead and skip ahead if you need to. Alright, so the first monster we have on the list that you guys missed out on is known as the Great Azuchi, which is based on a Great Jaggy for the Monster Hunter Tri game. Or, as we all know, the Great Jaggerus with the big belly. Although this guy does have a big belly, though. So otherwise, I'm going to let you guys watch that.
First comes the Vanguard, unstoppable tank. Then comes a second, attacking the flank. Finally, the General, the highest in rank. A trio of blades, swift as a gale. They cut to the bone and kill without fail.
You know, it'd be pretty amazing if I could just kill a Kulu like that with one hit. Because usually, like, you take a hammer or you try to get something like my switch axe I'm using and try to smack something once or twice, it takes a lot more than just 1 or 2 hits to be able to kill something. So I don't know how he does it with this tail, especially for being, like, one of the first monsters you fight. That's pretty dangerous. In case you haven't figured out already, Monster Hunter Rise is different than the other games because of the fact they give you an intro before the quest even starts on what you're going to be fighting and what to expect. With Monster Hunter World, you had to find the area the monster was in before you even figured out what it really did or anything. And with Monster Hunter Tri before that, it was kind of the same way. You had to get to its area before you even saw a cutscene or anything. But anyways, enough about that. Here comes the Great Baggy, which is also similar to the Great Jaggy from Monster Hunter Tri, and also the Great Azuchi. But instead of a sharp tail, he gets sleepy shots. Oh, just watch for yourself.
Running into the darkness, fangs snapping at your heels. When at last you stop to rest, a quick look around reveals you walked straight into a nest littered with previous meals. Don't stop. Don't linger. Don't sleep in this den. For the beast will find you, and you'll never wake again.
So one thing I do want to mention is the Great Baggy is from Monster Hunter Tri, possibly some other older games than that, but that's the one I started with, and the only other one I played besides Monster Hunter World 2. So there's a lot of Monster Hunter games out there, but he appeared in Monster Hunter Tri for sure. Next monster we got on the list is the Lagombi? Somebody correct me on my spelling there, pronunciation, because I don't know what... I'm going to say Lagombi. Anyways, I'll let you guys take a peek at that. He's in a snowy terrain? Pretty early in the game for snow.
On a frosty mountain range, far from human haunts, an abominable beast does whatever it wants. Is it hare or is it bear? It is neither, so beware. It will drench the snow with blood and wreak nothing but despair.
So a creature that has the body of a bear but the head of a rabbit I was thinking more of a jackrabbit, but you know, rabbit would make sense. Don't really know. It is quite the interesting creature nonetheless. But anyways, moving on, we have something sort of like it, known as alright, correct me my pronunciation once more. Arzuros, I believe it is. Take a peek at that. It's just like the Lagambi, but in the forest rather than the tundra area.
Roaming hill and dale. A gluttonous brute leaves a sluggish trail. Attempts to sate its hunger prove of no avail. It keeps eating more and more. And with every bite, it succumbs yet further to its destructive appetite.
Did you guys see the way that tongue lashed out at the end of that? I mean, either he wanted to be silly or he's really enjoying that meals. I mean, I know I do something like that. Like, you give me like a plate of enchiladas or something, even a slab of ribs in front of my face. Like, that's probably the face I'll be making too, honestly. So I'd imagine it's for a good meal at that point. Anyways, all jokes aside, we have something known as a acnosam, I think is what it's called. It's more of a parasol type bird. Like, it looks more like a crane from Kung Fu Panda. That's what I get from it. So take a peek for yourself and let me know what you think down in the comments.
A bamboo forest at night, the sound of dancing is heard. Resembling a parasol, but in truth a monstrous bird. Be wary of its figure and its vibrant hue. For once its collar opens, a rain of blood will ensue.
Now, I'm gonna be completely honest. When I was fighting this Acnosam, I thought it was more like a Kung Fu type warrior or something. I don't know, like a Kung Fu type crane, which is why I mentioned Kung Fu Panda. If I can really get my thoughts together on this. But anyways, moving on, we have the Kezu, which apparently this one appeared in the original Monster Hunter. Well, I actually did a little bit of research on this because I was preparing this stuff, and the Kezu reminds me of the Giganox. I'll show you right afterwards, after you watch the cutscene, of why he might remind you of the Giganox from Monster Hunter Try.
Nocturnal creatures coming out to feast find themselves becoming prey to this long-necked beast. Down the hatch they go, definitely deceased. Craven miscreant, show your mug if you dare. But when it turns to face you, you'd rather be elsewhere. Its perturbing expression, a sight too much to bear.
So as you can see, the Kezu has more like skin, like palely skinned, like realistic looking skin, like with blue veins, and he looks electric. So I'll be honest, when I first look at this thing, it gives me pretty bad chills, and I get scared. And I don't mean like scared, like, oh my god, he's scary looking. I mean like, oh my god, I don't want to touch that. Like, I just imagine myself touching it, and I just get so uncomfortable. But anyways, he reminds me of the Giganox from Monster Hunter Try, which actually the Giganox is based off the Kezu. So he's like a close relative? Not relative, but like a variation of it. I had to think of the word. So here's what the Giganox looks like in the side-by-side pic of the Kezu too. So tell me what you think down in the comments below also. So one last thing I wanted to mention before we wrap up this intro is your hunter rank is not the same as it is in Monster Hunter World. Everybody starts out at 1, obviously. And in order to get that up, you gotta go to the Gathering Hub and do your Gathering Hub quests. Because if you do the Village quest, you're gonna progress the story. Doing the Gathering Hub quest, you're able to play with friends, play online with other people, just like how you used to a Monster World. It's just Capcom decided to take the direction that, hey, we know people want to play by themselves, and go through the story by themselves. And then we'll just, like, for those people that want to play together, we'll have a separate thing for them. How about that? So, I don't know if there's a story with Gathering Cup 2, but hopefully we'll find that out in the future, because I'm going to focus more on the village for this series. But if you want to see the Gathering Cup, be sure to subscribe down below, because I plan on doing a separate series on that, along with all the other Monster Hunter games. So, please, while you're down there also, leave a like on the video if there's anything that you might enjoy. Now, getting into what we're here for, we're here to hunt an old friend of ours, known as the Royal Ludra. Once more. He doesn't really stick with his habitat anymore, like he does stay in the flood forest, but back in the day, when you used to hunt him in the Monster to Try, when he went into the forest, it was flooded, like not areas that were like how they are now, where you just see water above ground, but there's like water that flooded the entire area. You had underwater combat, and you would actually have an oxygen meter too. And that's where most of the Royal Ludra's kit was. So, seeing that they took that away from him, I don't feel like it's going to be the same for me, honestly. The game, Monster Hunter series hasn't really been the same since they took out the underwater fighting mechanics. And I can kind of understand why they might have did it. Maybe it's a little difficult, but to me it was really fun and a unique experience from most other games I played. Alright, I know that I said it was all the monster intros, but obviously you can see according to the list, there's a Royal Ludra one also. Because previously when I tried recording this, I forgot to record my own voice audio. So that was my personal fault, so here you go.
A shallow forest stream coursing through the night. Amid the sound of water, a beast prepares to fight. Those who go in unprepared will bow before its might. Bathing in the falls, it waits, using water as its shield. Yellow collar standing proud, its fangs shall never yield.
So as you can see, that's our main contender for this video. And as I go through this, I'm making myself some food at the canteen. So here's a little shortcut scene of what goes on. They don't exactly speak English, so there's captions at least, just show what they're saying. Fluffy bunny dingo, they're a tasty treat. Buy some today. That's such precision and skill. So as we start to get the show on the road, I can tell you a little bit about Monster Hunter Rise and what I know so far. So obviously we have our Palicos, and this thing I'm riding here now, Frost Protector is his name, is my Palamute, which Palamutes are basically like your dogs, like your hunting dogs, or wolves. You can customize them any way you want, make them look like a dog. If you pre-ordered the game, you actually got a pre-order bonus to actually get a golden retriever look to them. And with the Palamutes, you can actually attack with them too. They use little, I think it's shuriken? No, not shurikens. I forget the name of the weapon. I think it's, I don't know. They use a little weapon of their own. I forget. They tell you what it is, and I forget what it is. And this is our friend, the Royal Ludra. He's got that spongy mane. I still stand by what I said, is the underwater being stripped from the game really strips his kit. Which makes me very upset, personally. So we also have these wire bugs too, which, I don't know what I just did here. Oh no, I was gonna drink something. Wire bugs. You're able to launch yourself through the sky. They take time to recharge, but you can also pick up more. You can have a total of up to 3, and you get great wire bugs also. And keep in mind, tails are still separable, just like in all other games. So that's a big help when it comes to hunt creatures like this that like use your tails. With wire bugs also, you can also use your wire bug attack. So you hold down your LT key or whatever. That left trigger, you hold that down, then you use X or A, depending on the weapon you're using. Every weapon has a different thing it does. So with the switch axe, I actually have a second variation of it. So I jump up in the air, and then I'm able to slam down like so, and it does a discharge if I hit the enemy. With other weapons, you can do different things. I'm not quite sure what's out there. I haven't really experimented much. But we broke his main already, so that's good. And I managed to get the element off on him. My electric element of my weapon. Due to successful discharges. So, I'll have to experiment later on and figure out what weapons could do what with certain things, because I'm sure we're all curious about that. I know I am. Perhaps, like, maybe we can even go into training area. Check that out. Focusing on the fight here. So my left trigger at A is an evade pretty much, so I can like quickly get out of the way if I need to. And then if you could, as we consistently see, I was gonna say, if you see those the blue outlined and then you see the number in the middle, that basically just means that you can now mount monsters within Monster Hunter Rise. And if you do enough mounting quote-unquote damage, no, it's not mount damage, never mind. They give it a certain word, and that's another thing I forgot. I forget a lot of things about this, and it's like important stuff that I can't explain. I'm terrible at explaining. But basically, you do enough damage like that, and eventually you'll be able to ride the creature, in which you will be in control of the monster. You can get him to go wherever you want, you can attack with them, and you can attack other monsters, attack wildlife, stuff like that. So it's good to like get a turf war to go on, because usually if the monsters attack each other, one of them is bound to be rideable at that point. So it makes turf wars, like, not only do they do a lot of damage to each other, you can also take control of one and do even more damage. And then they have a special thing with it also, in which you can, once you hit a certain point, you can do a wyvern or wyvern burst or something like that. It's some sort of special attack you can do only when mounted. And if you do enough damage with the creature you're mounted with, you will be able to use this ability and do like a significant amount of damage to whatever it is you're trying to attack. Now, if you're wondering what Shardoglobe there is doing, my little Palico, he's tethering the monster, so if the monster tries to run out of the area, he won't be able to. So it's basically stopping his chances from escaping. The reason why it's set up like that is because your Palicos in this game now, you can actually set him up to have different skills. So I have Shardoglobe, I have him set to support. He's gonna help me like capture monsters and make sure they don't flee areas and stuff when they get tired, or like they just want to run away. So that's why he was doing that. That really helps me out when I'm trying to just focus on a fight. I have another Palico. We'll get to him soon, but his name is Ruffles. Not the brand of chips. Yes, it's spelled the same. It sounds the same, but that's not what I was going for. So Ruffles is going to be more my aggressive. He looks a little bit like a bear. That looks like he's seen some stuff. So yeah. I'll show him off here in a little bit when we go back to that. But basically, I have another Palico who's set for attacking. You can have one set for healing, another one for gathering. You could do one that's going to focus on other stuff. But you could have all sorts of different buddies. So the dogs, I should say the Palamutes, there's not really much else you could do with them besides just get one. They're just basically your partners that help you fight. You can ride them. In which, in this case, you can actually call them to you. There's a command that says, "Let me ride," as you can see. And you will whistle, and your Palamute will run up to you and actually let you ride them. Which is how we get around the map a lot faster, honestly. And you can also climb up vine walls, too. So if it's like a wall you know you're able to climb, you'll actually run up it. You won't even bother climbing the vines. He just straight up runs.
Going swimmingly.
You can also gather stuff, as you just saw, while riding your Palamute. You can also even sharpen your weapon or drink a potion or something. So you don't have to like sit there for a little bit trying to get everything all back together. You can actually do everything while you're running to the boss. Like so. In which he's just trying to get clean up for shit. You can fling yourself off them too. The same thing with the wire bugs. You can fling yourself through the air and then try to, you know, Get a smash attack on him. Alright, we're gonna do something special here. Perfect. So usually it takes a while before you be able to ride a monster, but generally when you're able to do it, it is fun. I'll tell you that much. It doesn't really last too long, but what you can do with it is there's also a dismount attack too. I forgot to mention that part. So when you go to get off of them, instead of like just hopping off, I was talking. Anyways, before I was so rudely interrupted, there's a dismount function in which basically if you run out of time, you're obviously gonna fall off. Run out of time to mount them and stuff like that. Like you didn't even do anything, you're gonna fall off. And if you take damage, you fall off quicker too. That's another thing. But they have a special option in which you're able to really, you basically have them charge into a wall or some sort of structure, another monster or something, and it will stun them and they'll fall over, just like how they would within Monster Hunter World, where you do a special attack on their backs. So it's similar to that, at least. I like the idea of the paladin moves also, because like not only can you ride them, once again, you can ride them around the map, but they're also really unique because of the fact that it's just another partner to have to fight with, besides just a Palico. Because sometimes your Palico, let's be honest here, they're not exactly the best. They're not the brightest in some situations. Like, you'll be like low health and be like, oh, Master, you need the Figure Wasp! And you're like, dude, I just used a potion already. Really? Like, where was that about like 2 minutes ago when I really needed it? Sorry, Master, I was over here trying to fight a monster. Ooh! So he is enraged. You can tell by the puffs of breath coming out of his face. The puffs of smoke coming out of his breath, I should mention. I'm so rude when it comes to explaining stuff, but I messed that up so bad. Get a Frost Protector! I'll be over there shortly. This great sword variation is pretty slow. So for those of you who played Monster Hunter World, saved weapons are in the game once again. For those of you who haven't played since Monster Hunter Tri or some of the older ones, there's new weapons such as switch. Well, obviously switch axes here. Look at the top right here. We'll get a picture up. We have bows now. There's heavy crossbow, light crossbow. There's dual blades now. That's another thing. And I got a cat trying to jump in front of my screen. Hi. Welcome to that. We're picking a bad time for this deal. Try to chill. Alright, come on. Here we go. So occasionally when you're discharging, you can usually like be able to like mount the monster in a way, I guess. I don't know, it just happens occasionally. I don't really know how to trigger it or if there's a certain spot I need to. Also, if you look at the blue icon of the monster now, that means he's ready for capture. So he's weak enough, if we have a trap, we can lay it down and we can use the strike bomb to be able to capture him. So that's a new thing they also added. So when monsters get weak enough, you know like when they're going to pretty much run. So he's going to run pretty soon, obviously. And he's ready for capture too if I wanted to capture him. But obviously I don't want that. I want to stay away. Which I should have been focusing on a lot more. But that's quite alright. Alright, meanwhile, while we're trying to catch up to him, let's go ahead and show you some variations of the other pets I made. So I had my Palico Ruffles, and then I have another Palamute I call Jolt. So the look I was going for Ruffles is I wanted him to look like somebody, like he looks like he's a bit in a fight, and he's like a little scared, which is why he explains his passive-aggressive personality. He's just on edge all the time because of the fact that he's in some shape. And if you look at the Palamute, his name is Jolt. I wanted him to look more like a friendly dog, more happy. you know, something more happy, you know, upbeat. But I wanted to look like he was like playing around in mud or something. Hence why he's got like brown spots. Nothing bad or anything. Just he's a cute little guy. That's all. All right, back to the action here. Royal Ludra's trying to shoot some bubbles at me, and I got a cat sitting right in front of my screen. Hikey, Hikey, what are you doing? Come here. Come here. Woo! That could have been real bad. My Palico's once again tethering him, so he's not going to be able to run. Cross protectors are looking a little wheezy. But he's not a quitter. Try to use manipulation. So I don't know if Mantle's made a return to Monster Hunter Rise or not. We'll find out later, I guess. But so far, I've only been to the first 3 stars of Hunter Race. Not Hunter Race, but first 3-star quests. Did I just cut off his tail and then kill him? I did! Precise skill right there. Man. You know, I will never be able to do that again. Well, apparently amongst the recording, I was over here rambling on. I don't know where he got cut off at, so I apologize. Apparently the cat decided to press a button and stop my recording on me. So, shame. Well, what I was explaining earlier was there's training quests, so in case you're not familiar with the game at all, you can train with the master. There's optional subquests, so instead, Monster Hunter World had a thing where you had to go talk to the research commission and stuff, and be like, oh, I need to take this quest, this quest, this quest, and then you had to go talk to your quest handler. Like, there was a whole bunch of different people you had to talk to, and those of you that played the game, you probably remember that. So, in this game, Monster Hunter Rise, you just go to your quest counter and you get subquests this time. So these are just things that you just fulfill as you go on. And obviously, you really get the same rewards. Different rewards, bones maybe, armor, I think you get points. And as I was mentioning before, I believe, we have our village quests once more. The ones that are not marked as key quests, which are generally like these ones on this list, they're not really too important, but the village will still like accept them being done. They're not very important. That will trigger an urgent quest. And then last but not least, we have expedition tours. So this is basically just venturing out into the wild at your own pace, fighting whatever you want. No limit.
I'll be here if you need me.
But other than that, guys, I feel like that's all I should really be explaining right now. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, if you want to see some more Monster Hunter Rise in the future, be sure to subscribe down below. I'm going to be doing the Village series along with the Gathering Hub. So Gathering Hub is probably separate after I finish the Village one. We'll figure that out later, because I don't know how difficult it's going to be. I plan on playing some Monster Hunter Try in the future also, and hopefully some other games on the channel. So be sure to hit the like button down below if you enjoyed this video, and stay frosty, folks. I'll see you in the next one.